The Imperial Combat Assault Tank Pilot, or Tank Trooper for short, were specialised Imperial troopers trained to operate the TX225 Occupier Combat Assault Tank. These tank pilots were part of the Galactic Empire's armoured divisions and were primarily tasked with piloting, maintaining and commanding these heavily armed vehicles in combat and occupation zones such as the Empire's period of control at Jeddah City. The TX225 tank's tactical deployment alongside the ATSTs was aimed at urban occupation and used to patrol cities and suppressing uprisings. However, they faced significant threats from grenades, mines and snipers. However, the wider scope of the Galactic Empire's armoured divisions were the elite mechanised units responsible for operating the Empire's heavy ground vehicles, which further included various types of walker and other mechanised weaponry. These divisions played a crucial role in enforcing Imperial rule, conducting planetary invasions, and crushing rebel uprisings with overwhelming firepower. A tank commander's responsibilities covered a number of vital actions to ensure the TX225 Occupier tank could navigate, for example, kyber crystals through the streets of Jeddah. The TX225 was equipped with heavy armour due to a lack of shields and was armed with powerful laser cannons, making them effective for urban warfare and supporting Imperial troops when under heavy insurgent fire in battle. Holding the rank of First Sergeant, a non-commissioned officer rank within the Imperial Army, the tank commander with the dark grey markings on their armour coordinated the actions of the tank crew, including the gunner technician and the tank driver from the top hatch, as well as directing the infantry stormtroopers' support. The Imperial tank trooper had a distinct look about them from the standard stormtroopers. Starting with their helmet, although white, similar to the stormtrooper helmet, the design was slicker with a more enclosed appearance and a wider visor. The frontal area of the helmet consisted of a wireless telemetry receiver used to communicate with tank system interfaces and coordinate infantry and command units during combat situations. The helmet also held two breathe mass filter screens on the front bottom edges to filter out dust, smoke and hazardous particles, especially in urban war zones like Jeddah. Also, the helmet was the same design used by the Juggernaut pilots, but theirs was olive green in appearance. The tank trooper's standard uniform comprised of a dark grey combat suit, similar in design to the ATST pilot. The pilot's chestpiece armour, which overlaid their combat suit, was padded and made from reinforced plastoid for extra protection in vehicle combat. Further plastoid plating protected their lower body, and their shoulders and arms were also protected by similar armour to the standard stormtrooper. Around their waist was a utility belt for carrying essential gear. Although their thighs were not protected by armour to allow them to move in the confined space of the combat assault tank, the pilot possessed shin guards and boots designed for rugged battlefield conditions. So what was the standard equipment and weapons issued and trained to a tank trooper? Trained in personal combat and carried standard issue weaponry similar to the Imperial Stormtrooper included an E11 blaster rifle, a standard Imperial blaster carried inside the tank for emergencies, an SE-14R light repeating blaster often holstered on their belt, and thermal detonators for close quarter combat and self-defense if the tank was disabled. Despite the powerful tank and infantry support, the Imperial Army doctrine specified ground assault vehicles should not operate without sufficient air or orbit cover, but also infantry should be used for support purposes. Between the small group of Imperial forces, the tank crews often referred to the infantry as tiny tanks or lightfoots, and the infantry referred to the tanks as fire magnets. Notable appearances of the TX225 tank and its crew were first seen in the Han Solo comics, but also in the Star Wars Rebels Occupation episode, and of course Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, but also the Rogue One comics themselves, and finally they were seen in the Dr. Aphra comics. For more Imperial Trooper videos, click on the playlist seen here, and as always, thanks for watching and long live the Empire.